Welcome back to Indianapolis, where they have just begun to introduce the starting lineup for the New York Knicks. Let's pick it up. John, just a low-key presentation of the introductions of the home team.
Not mine, not his, but your Indiana Pacers, Marv.
And we're set for the Knicks and Pacers to meet for the second time this season. In recent games, the Knicks have become downtown happy. They have been gunning from long range. They have shot 45% over the last 17 games, but the last couple of games, the shot selection from three-point land has been a question mark. Pat Riley last night after the loss to Milwaukee expressed that he's not pleased with the excessive three-point shooting.
It was like fool's gold. We take 17 threes in the first half, and anytime we take over 25 threes, we lose. And so we're getting to that mentality, instead of powering it and posting it.
Well, that was the formula last night, to go inside against the smaller people. The Knicks chose not to. See the officials, Danny Crawford, Tom Washington, and Nolan Fine. Might be a little different tonight, though, with the 7'4" Smits out on the court, as long as he might be. The Knicks may have to go to the threes and live with them a little longer.
And a foul is called on John Starks. John looking for the steal as Sam Mitchell was able to control that opening tip. Pat always has a way of coming up with a new phrase that captures it. Fool's gold is the way he labels the three-point shooting in recent games by the Knicks. This is Mitchell going at Williams. Sam Mitchell has played very well in the absence of Dale Davis, who, as we mentioned at the start, did make his return last night in the overtime victory over Charlotte, but sitting out this evening because of lower back spasms.
I get a sense here in Indiana, Marv, that the liveliness of this crowd does for the Pacers what the Knicks crowd does for them in New York. This is a very lively, with it audience.
And it's a 24-second violation on the Knicks' very first possession. And as we illustrated on the pregame show on Knicks Game Night, as you demonstrated very capably by showing us the megaphones that have been distributed to this capacity crowd, it is shout down the Knicks night, so it may be even louder than usual here at Market Square as Derek McKee goes to work against Charles Smith and rebounded by McKee. McKee had an outstanding game last night against Charlotte. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Rick Smith stealing for Patrick Ewing, and he's fouled. Charles Smith came over to help out.
A very determined move by Smith. It wasn't that long ago when he'd make the initial thrust, get stopped, and then stay there, but he kept digging on and on.
So Smith's to the free throw line. Every year there's the cry that Rick Smith's must bulk up, so Larry Brown came aboard and said Smith's needs to slim down. Apparently it worked. Rick has dropped some weight, took pressure off his knees. He stayed healthy, and he has produced. The Pacers 4, and the Knicks nothing. Hopper played by Workman. Jackson losing his starting job. David Workman is back in there as the starter. Smith powered his way, but could not hit.
He was right under the basket. He seemed to overshoot it from the left side.
And a foul is called on McKee. Monty Williams, Charles Smith, and Patrick Ewing up front. Derek Hopper and John Stark. Indiana Pacers have come out with high energy at the start.
It's interesting how they translate that, but they have done such. They look like they're going to be very tough. They're playing with great confidence in the opening minutes.
Miller had the move closed by Starks. Mitchell. Workman. Hayward Workman. And rebounded by Patrick Ewing. Starks. And Starks on the recovery. Smith shooting. So the Knicks have missed their first 4 field goal attempts. 2.5 gone by. 6-0 Indiana. Mitchell sets the pick. Mitchell is fouled by Williams. There is nothing going right at this point for the Knicks.
I can recall in New York speaking with Larry Brown before their first meeting, interesting focus on Reggie Miller, and that is they were encouraging him to shoot more here in the opening moments. He's passing, not forcing any shot opportunities.
And Miller fires. Pacers 8, the Knicks nothing. Rick Smith's allowing Patrick Ewing very little room. Smith's doing an excellent job on Ewing. Hopper. Oh, what a move by Derek Hopper. Going glass and going with the left hand.
Absolutely spectacular shot. I don't know how he saw the basket.
So the Knicks went 3 minutes and 12 seconds before they were able to score. Reggie Miller extends to a 10-2 lead.
Once again, Reggie Miller at 6'7", 4 inches over John Starks.
And Reggie is opened up by hitting his first 3 shots. Ewing. Now wanted to travel. Here comes Workman. Workman racing by Hopper, and a foul is called. It's a tripping foul on Hopper. very spirited play by the Indiana Pacers here at the start. You can see it right from the opening tip.
You know, an interesting thought, Marv, is that this is good for the Knicks. You might say, why, if you're a Knicks fan? Well, the answer is because if the Knicks don't get with it soon, they're going to get blown out of here. So they better reach down and find whatever they have early in this game and keep it up.
Smets, you're saying that they're getting the message early, is that it?
Yes, and it better get better here for them, or they're going to be in real deep trouble. It's going to require excellence, and there's no sign of it here. Like that.
Long walk taken by Pat Riley as he has seen his team trail right at the start, 10-2, and he's making a quick substitution. Anthony Mason will come on. Miller hits the three. Pacers 13, the Knicks 2, and the Knicks will talk it over. Timeout is called. Standing ovation for the Indiana Pacers.
Charles Minlin, Zen Hamilton, Felipe Lopez. Don't miss St. John's as they battle Boston College from Alumni Hall. Saturday night on MSG2. Serious New York sports fans want their sports news straightforward and up to the minute. That's why millions of fans find just what they're looking for with MSG Sports Desk. News, views, scores, highlights, with a team of pros to bring you all the latest. Gus Johnson, Mike Crispino, Mike Quick with area high school sports, and the always straight-shooting Bob Page. Get the real deal every night with the New York sports leader, MSG Sports Desk. Only on MSG Network, the best in the game. Rangers head south to take on Peter Klima and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Saturday night, right here on MSG.
Well, in the opening minutes, there's a fire raging here, and the Indiana Pacers are responsible and very happy about it. Reggie Miller off to a terrific start. Pacers pushing the ball up the court. Reggie taking advantage of his height situation over John Stark, shooting that ball. Reggie now 4 out of 4 from the field.
Anthony Mason is checked in. Mason replacing Monty Williams. A 13-2 lead by the Pacers. Mason trying to post up against Mitchell. Shot clock is at 6. Ewing off the double team. And here comes Workman. Miller for Workman for 3. Haywood Workman, who has battled his way back into the starting lineup. He's done it because of his defensive play. Occasionally hit the outside shot. Starks for 3. John Starks buries the three-pointer and hears it from the crowd. John, not one of the favorites here in the state of Indiana, going back to his many tussles with Reggie Miller.
Yes, John is a star here in Indiana.
Miller for 3. Miller just firing off 1 foot, forcing that one.
Looks absolutely flat-footed now as they watch Mason.
Charles Smith, Pacers 16, and the Knicks 7.
Fortunately, a double team went in the direction of Mason, and he gave it up unselfishly to Charles.
Charles Smith has had his difficulties the last couple of games. Last night, 3 of 8. Only 7 points, 4 rebounds in 29 minutes. Had a 1 for 7 against Orlando on Sunday. Offensive foul on Miller. So the Knicks will get it back. The Indiana Pacers last night in Charlotte beat the Hornets in overtime, 95-92. Pacers have won 3 of 4 this season against the Hornets. Hornets have won 6 straight, 16 of the last 20. touch by Ewing.
Knicks are going to have to get some kind of offensive rebounding rust.
John, last night in overtime was Haywood Workman, who hit a couple of foul shots with 11 seconds left in overtime. And seconds later, he missed two, but with 0.5 of a second remaining in overtime, he hit 2 of 2, and that wrapped up the game. The block by Ewing. Smith raced it down. Shot clock at 1, 24-second violation. So the ball back to the Knicks with 5:08 remaining in this first quarter. And the Pacers up 16-7. Last night in the loss to Milwaukee, the Knicks with a season low for a quarter, only 12 points. Season low for a half, they had only 31 points in the second half. And a slow start here tonight. We played 7 minutes of the first quarter, the Knicks showing 7 points. Ewing with the fake. Rebounded by Mitchell.
Needless to say, it would be wise of Patrick to take the ball at Smith, try and get him in foul trouble. He's dangerous.
Miller nearly lifted the other foot. And then hits. Reggie wants the ball. And Reggie Miller now 5 of 7, 11 points. 18-7 Indiana. Patrick Ewing has missed his first 4 shots. Rick Smits has done a nice job against him, and there has been an occasional double team. Now Mitchell on a switch guarding Ewing. Shot clock at 6.
A lot of double teaming going on by the Pacers inside.
Starks able to hustle it down. And the Knicks get the new 24. Starks. Yes. A 3-pointer for John Starks. That's his second of the quarter. John Starks erupted last night against the Bucks in the first quarter. 17 points, 5 from downtown, but then very quiet the rest of the way, and seemed to be unhappy. We were following John on the bench, and he was giving off much unhappiness. Smits, Rick Smits. Pacers 20, the Knicks 10.
Patrick stops the dribble. If he shoots without anything in front of him, it makes it a lot easier.
Ewing now 0 for 5. And a timeout called by the Pacers. 3:09 remaining in the first.
Slowly getting into it. The Pacers have started off shooting the ball near perfect. John Starks has his hands full with Reggie Miller. John, we were referring to moments ago, having a tough time last night. Very unhappy on the bench. I think Charles Oakley might have been kidding him a little, trying to loosen him up. John started out making 6 of 7. Then he went 1 for 7. I think Charles might have had a remark on the 1 for 7 into John Starks, and John found no humor in it.
Starks tonight has hit 2 of 3, both from downtown. Indiana leads 20-10 with 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Rick Smits going to work on Patrick Ewing. Rick Smits using the 7'4", 270-pound frame.
Patrick hasn't been able to put any pressure on him yet. Smits is just flowing in his movement out there.
Pacers with a 22-10 lead. And Patrick Ewing on his first field goal. He missed his first 5 attempts. Capacity crowd, better than 16,000 here at Market Square. Final game for both the Knicks and the Pacers prior to the All-Star break. Here's Derek McKee with a nice spin. It counts, and the foul on Smith.
Derek McKee, a very appreciated player by the coaching staff here. Came from Seattle last year in that trade for Detlef Schrempf. Showed Charles Smith a lot of deception in that fancy movement for a 6'10" man.
And the one-time New York Knick, Mark Jackson, has checked in for the first time. Jackson coming on for Haywood Workman. John Williams also on the floor for the first time. And the play by Jackson leading to the turnover by Hoffer. It will be Indiana ball.
Derek Harper gave Mark Jackson a very difficult time in New York, and Derek jumped all over Mark right away as if to try and intimidate him at Madison Square Garden.
Miller with the quick release. Mason on the rebound. Just under 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. Mason guarded by McKee, and it's John Hot-Plate Williams going up against Patrick Ewing, and the foul is called. John Williams released by the Clippers last year because of the chronic weight problem. He has been a favorite of Larry Brown. He figures give another shot. The guy has such talent. He is one of the gifted players in the league. He can play all 5 positions. In fact, right here at about 6'8", 6'9", he is guarding Patrick Ewing. Mason, yes. Indiana with a 25-14 lead.
The Knicks need the return of Anthony Mason. In many, many ways he can help this team, but they need points out of him as well tonight.
Williams. And Ewing outlets Hopper. Pacers get back. Here's Starks. John Starks taking it to the hoop. Going right at Mark Jackson. And the Pacer lead is now 9.
Knicks are slowly getting into it now as they sense what's necessary. They're running the court well as they did on that play.
John, would you believe a fellow at the scorer's table who looks just like Greg Anthony? Mitchell is rejected by Ewing. I could swear I'm looking at Greg Anthony. And he is about to check in.
It's not a mask.
And Anthony Bonner, who just came on, not able to hit. Greg Anthony started the season playing very well, and then for whatever reason fell out of favor with Pat Riley and has seen very little playing time. But he is about to make an appearance.
I think it may be one of Pat Riley's let's shake the boys up moves here, because the guards have been playing well for the Knicks, except for some inconsistencies here and there, but there have been no major problems at the guard position.
Ewing from way out. Final seconds. 7-point lead. Whoa. And that is the end of the first quarter. The Pacers with a 25-18 lead after 1.
By Coca-Cola. Always jammin', always Coca-Cola.
Junior Knicks fans, you can become a member of the Knicks Fan Club presented by Modell's Sporting Goods. Each member gets terrific team merchandise, an official membership certificate, and a badge as well, plus the Out of Bounds newsletter 4 times a year. For an application, call 201-784-9600.
Second quarter underway. The Knicks did pick it up in the final minutes of the first quarter. Greg Anthony has come on after sitting out the last 7 games. And Patrick Ewing, after the slow start, has picked it up. He now has 6. And it's a 25-20 Indiana lead. The last time Greg Anthony played against Portland, January 24th at the Garden, John, you remember he came on after Derek Harper was having a difficult time with Rod Strickland and did a nice job against Strickland for that brief period.
When Greg met Mark Jackson a moment ago for the first time, when action started, there was a little shoving between the two. Hard to tell if it was friendly or fierce.
Anthony and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing with Mason and Bonner up front. Kickball, 24. A new 24 will be given to the Knicks. Opening minute of play, second quarter. Marv Albert with John Andres from Market Square Arena in Indianapolis. It won't count. The basket counts because an illegal defense was about to be called against Indiana. And Greg Anthony followed through with the shot. Which, John, is a lesson for you. Always follow through. Never stop. until you hear the whistle.
In every aspect of your life.
Absolutely.
As long as there's a whistle around.
On the streets of New York, hear the whistle, continue, follow through. McKee rejected, and he's called for a travel. And now Charles Smith returns, replacing Patrick Ewing. Ewing with 6 points. 12-5 run by the Knicks, and it appears they've been able to put a dent into that fiery start by the Pacers.
Patrick had 6 of the Knicks' 10 rebounds in the first quarter.
Starks the 3. And back comes Jackson. Mark Jackson backing his way on Greg Anthony. And Mason able to snatch it, protecting the ball against McKee.
Bonner wide open under the basket. Mason sees him, but Bonner cannot finish the play.
Bonner was hiding along the baseline, and the Pacers lost him, but Bonner could not convert on the reverse. And it will be Nick Ball. Vern Fleming checking in for the first time, along with Wayne Farrell. Sam Mitchell is back. Hubert Davis getting set to come on for the first time. Riley returning to the 4-guard rotation tonight.
Come on.
Smith and Mitchell with the rebound. Mitchell given the room and then decided to give it up. 3 minutes gone by, second quarter. Jackson, his pass picked off by Bonner, and Greg Anthony ahead of the field.
The quickness of Bonner reading that play, running into that passing lane was outstanding.
The Knicks have cut it to a 1-point lead. Indiana opened the game with a 13-2 spurt. Mitchell line drives it home. Sam Mitchell, who came to the Pacers in the Chuck Person, Pooh Richardson deal with Minnesota. That was back in September of '92. Illegal defense called on Indiana. And now Hubert Davis checks in for the first time. Haywood Workman is back, replacing Mark Jackson. John Starks sitting down. The Knicks with a backcourt of Greg Anthony and Hubert Davis. Charles Smith, Anthony Bonner, Anthony Mason up front.
Must be killing Mark Jackson not to own the starting guard position here, as you know he expected to do.
Well, the feeling was that would be a turnaround move by the Indiana Pacers. They were just delighted to get him in a deal from the Los Angeles Clippers, and they handed him the starting job. But
he did start 33 of the 46 games now this season.
Wayne Farrell, who is noted for his instant offense, also in addition to the squad after spending 6 years with the Atlanta Hawks. And Farrell gives the Pacers a 29-24 advantage. A chant of defense from the crowd. Davis, and a loose ball foul against Charles Smith. That is his third personal.
It's so important for Greg Anthony to advance the ball, to break the defense down if he can. Otherwise, he will not be on the floor. But a lot of the movement was just lateral left to right before the Knicks got any movement toward the basket on that Hubert Davis shot. Pacers getting the call they liked, obviously.
Patrick Ewing has made his return, replacing Charles Smith. Smith's to the turnaround, trying to bank it, and it's handled by Ewing. Patrick Ewing with 7 rebounds. Ewing. And the foul on Smith. Trying to reach in to knock the ball away. That's the first on Smits. And a timeout being taken by the Knicks.
Well, Patrick rolls aggressively into his shot, demanding some kind of contact, and he gets it.
It was the best for
Makes, but they're certainly among the league leaders. Our AT&T long distance shooting chart here shows you the Sixers at 40%. Indiana 4th in the NBA. The Knicks 11th in the NBA at proficiency from three-point range.
Patrick Ewing at the free throw line for the first time. Ewing started the game missing his first 5 shots, but has come on. And one of the Pacers stepped in too quickly. It's a foul line violation on Sam Mitchell. So an additional free throw awarded to the Knicks. 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. And the Indiana Pacers lead the New York Knicks 29-24. Pacers have led by as many as 14. It's a 4-point lead. Workman and Fleming now in the backcourt. Burrell with Smits and Mitchell up front. And Smits turned it over.
Hubert Davis did a very good job not allowing Fleming to get around him.
Ewing set up by Mason. Cuts it to a 2-point Pacer lead.
Boy, it's interesting how the crowd has been dispersed, so to speak, with the Knicks coming into this thing now.
The Knicks have won 5 straight regular season games against Indiana, 11 out of the last 12, including the earlier meeting at the Garden. Workman was hammered, and he'll shoot a couple. Nolan Fine with the call on Anthony Bonner.
2 on New York.
Byron Scott sitting it out, along with Sal Thompson, Dale Davis. Byron Scott with a lower back problem. Sal Thompson also with a back problem. Dale Davis the same. Davis making it back from a separated shoulder. Played last night and played well in the overtime win in Charlotte. Antonio Davis, another very important member of this squad, is on the injured list after undergoing back surgery. He is expected back.
It's their 2 starting forwards much of the time last season, at any rate. Antonio Davis and Dale Davis.
And the 24-second clock not working. So they will readjust it. In fact, it looks like an electrical problem, because I see zeros on the scoreboard, and John, we know the half was not concluded. We're not in Philadelphia either. These things can happen.
I knew it.
These things can happen from time to time.
Chances are that will be the only interruption of the evening, I would think, here in Indiana.
No, they're usually very, very solid. Davis for 3. Yes. Hubert Davis hitting the 3-pointer, and it's now the Pacers 31 and the Knicks 30. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Fleming's pass too strong and off the mark. So things have turned in this second quarter. Indiana got off to the 13-2 lead. They led by as many as 14. Workman called for the foul. See the Knicks coming back after that good Pacer start.
Well, if you're a Pacer fan sitting here, you're wondering where Reggie Miller is and why he's not in the game. Reggie blistered the Knicks in the opening minutes.
Yes, Reggie hit his first 4 shots. Here comes Reggie off the bench. Mitchell gets it out to Workman for 3. the foul. Ewing had it, lost it, and Sam Mitchell was fouled.
Well, on that shot attempt by the Pacers, Ewing doing a good job getting the ball, but then he couldn't retain it. And some of the intensity and the thrust of the Knicks in getting that rebound just wasn't there. The necessary intensity.
New backcourt for the Knicks. Starks and Hopper have come on. And Davis remains, so the Knicks going with a three-guard alignment. Greg Anthony sitting down with 4 points. Two big men on the floor, Ewing and Mason. Starks guarded by Miller, and Davis guarded by Farrell. They double team Ewing. Shot clock at 5. Starks. John Starks elevating to get it over the 7'4" Rick Smith.
Yeah, he was fighting his defense as well as the clock on that play.
The game is tied at 32. And an offensive foul. Illegal pick called on Smits. That's his second foul. Here's Derek McKee back, replacing Sam Mitchell. Pacers, John Farrell. Indiana with 6 turnovers this second quarter. The Knicks with only one, a contributing factor. Mark Jackson back for Haywood Workman, and Larry Brown really shuffling in the second quarter.
Well, his team played a very taxing game last night in Charlotte, so perhaps he's playing to fatigue and hoping his players will be stronger in the second half.
Hubert Davis again, his second straight three-pointer. And the Knicks lead 35-32. First time the Knicks have led. 4 minutes to go in this first half. Miller for Williams. Good look by Reggie Miller, who was setting up for the shot, and then saw Williams wide open. 1 point Knick lead. Ewing. And Patrick Ewing will go to the free throw line. Foul on John Williams.
You're looking at perhaps a 300-pound, 6'9" John Williams on that foul on Ewing. What what is hoped for Larry Brown is that he can deny Ewing the position he wants. But when Ewing gets the ball, Patrick has any number of choices to make. He can move around him. He can shoot over him. The Knicks got to pour that ball into Patrick Ewing now, being matched with John Williams.
Mark Jackson trying to bother Patrick Ewing. Little playful trash talk by Mark with Patrick.
Mark, who has professed his love for Patrick as a teammate many times over the years, and you know they have a very close relationship.
Oh, Derek McKee with a beautiful move. The Knicks lead 37-36. 3:20 remaining in the first half. This is the second of 4 meetings between the Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. This has developed into one of the superb rivalries in the NBA. Goes back to the playoffs of last season with some heated regular season matchups in recent years. Jackson for 3. Ewing rebound. Davis. And it's a traveling violation. Timeout called by the Knicks with 2:46 to go in the first half. The Knicks lead by 1.
Get an in-depth look at this year's St. John's team with interviews, features, and great action highlights on the St. John's Report. Thursday night, right here on MSG. February melts the winter cold with red-hot sports action on MSG Network. The New York Rangers are back in action as they battle some of their top Eastern Conference rivals. They take on the Montreal Canadiens, the Florida Panthers, plus Pat LaFontaine and the Buffalo Sabres. The New York Knicks bang the boards against some NBA powerhouses. They battle the Houston Rockets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, plus Shaq and the Orlando Magic. Stay tuned after most Knicks and Rangers home games and see some of the biggest stars in sports and showbiz. Mike Francesa and Kathleen Murphy host live from the play-by-play. February brings the return of one of the nation's oldest sporting traditions. Don't miss the 119th annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. College hoops continues its fast break towards March Madness. You'll see Cincy, Rhode Island, UMass, and St. Louis, plus 6 more big St. John's games. Today's hard-hitting sports issues are the hot topic every month as Bob Page hosts Page 1. Plus, you can always get all the scores and stories every night with MSG Sports Desk. Have a blast with all the great February sports action on MSG Network.
The Knicks tonight at 47%. They have lifted from the first quarter doldrums, and Indiana dropped off after the hot start at 45% now for the game. The Knicks 7 of 13 from the field here in the second quarter. Reggie Miller. And back comes Harper. The Knicks lead 37-36 with the first half winding down. 2:25 remaining. Once again, Larry Brown going with John Williams against Patrick Ewing. Harper for 3 is wide open. Mason. Foul. Pushed. Anthony Mason took the hit from behind. Foul committed by Derek McKee, his second.
Harper hasn't done much shooting here in the first half. Hard to be on target from long range when you're not shooting the ball that much, but some pressure by the Knicks on the boards gets them some scoring opportunity here.
Indiana over the limit. And the Knicks now lead 38-36. Knicks trying to bounce back from the poor performance last night at home against the Bucks. Pat Riley said last night the Knicks played a lazy game. Derek Harper referred to the Knicks' lack of intensity against the Bucks. But a very impressive game for Milwaukee's young front court combination. Bounce on Starks. The 2 young players, Glenn Robinson and Ben Baker, were very impressive. John Starks did not like the call and continues to discuss it with Nolan Fine. And is hearing it from the crowd. That put the Knicks over the foul limit, so Reggie Miller to the line.
Well, Marv, you know, talking earlier about the Knicks' slow start and how it might have been good for them, it really has turned out that way so far because they started digging harder and playing harder, and they were dragged into a much better level of play here by the very fine opening that the Pacers put forth.
So, John, are you basically justifying your perverse theory that you tried to sell us earlier? Is that what that statement was all about?
Reminding you how on it I was, you know?
Harper giving the Knicks a 41-38 lead. A minute 45 left in the first half. Farrell goes for the shorter jump shot, had it knocked away. Kept alive, though, by Farrell. And now Ewing able to come up with it. Starks for 3. Mason with the rebound and another opportunity for the Knicks. Ewing being played by Farrell. The Knicks try to go right at it, and they do. Ewing could not take advantage of the mismatch against the 6'7" Wayne Farrell. Williams called for the foul, and Mason back to the line.
Anthony Mason is becoming more of a factor in this game with a major presence in all aspects of the game. He's been quiet the last 2 in Orlando and last night, but you just feel Mason is back and is going to put a big stamp on this one.
The Knicks 42 and the Pacers 38. We come up on 1 minute left in the half. Reggie Miller, a lightning release. So Reggie Miller has hit 5 out of 6 for 11 from the field. He has 15 points. The Knicks lead by 2. Hopper and Miller with the rebound. Miller for McKee. Setting it against Jackson. Mason around McKee. What a move by Anthony Mason, and the Knicks now lead 44-40.
He's so adept with the right hand as well around the basket.
7 points, 5 rebounds for Mason. We're down to the final seconds of the half. Jackson tried the pass off the dribble. Little shovel move. Did not work. 5 and 7/10 seconds to go in the half. Pat Riley tried to insert John Starks, but could not get him to the scorer's table. Hopper able to hit a buzzer scoop by Derek Hopper. What a shot.
And he's out of here.
That's right.
Right
and
to
he's
the locker
still
room.
running to the locker room. So at the end of the first half, with a sensational second quarter by the Knicks, they lead by 6. Says Derek, getting it up at the buzzer. Just wanted to check it out as he heads straight through the tunnel to the locker room. The Knicks were down at 1 point, 16-2. Indiana with that 14-point lead. Indiana came out in fiery fashion, but the Knicks able to weather it, and they have a 46-40 lead at the half. Bob Page coming up in a moment at the MSG Sports Desk.
Thank you, Marv. Good evening again, everybody. As Nets guard Rex Walters took more pot shots at teammate Kenny Anderson in the newspapers today for Kenny's alleged refusal to pass the basketball more. The merry band of Nets are in Atlanta tonight. They trail the Hawks just seconds before halftime now. Ah, yes, the life of an NBA referee. Not all bad, is it? Hawks led 34-21 after the opening quarter. Steve Smith had 13 points. Early second, Walters' pass stolen by ex-net Mookie Blaylock. Look at that shot by Craig Elo that goes in. That made it 36-21. Later on, New Jersey goes on a 12-2 run. It's Rick Mahorn to Chris Morris for the jam. That cut the lead at the time to 40-37. If you missed it from earlier, the NBA's Rod Thorne came down hard on Vernon Maxwell today. The Houston guard suspended a minimum 10 games and fined $20,000 for wading into the stands at Portland the other night and actually punching out a fan. At the end of the 10 games, there may be more games tacked on. College basketball, that Rutgers-UMass contest that was suspended last night will be continued. University officials announced today that they will pick it up at the beginning of the second half with Rutgers leading the Minutemen 31-29, and that the game will be finished at the Palestra in Philadelphia on Thursday, March 2nd, to coincide with the start of the Atlantic 10 postseason tournament there. As for Rutgers president Francis Lawrence, whose racially insensitive remarks ignited the protest that stopped last night's game at halftime, he will not resign, not after a 35-year career in academics, by all accounts, championing minority rights.
I have apologized for that misspeaking. I've corrected that. I think 35 years have shown that I stand on the other side of it. I have, I believe, been an effective leader, and I plan to be an effective leader in the future.
And the first wife of O.J. Simpson will be subpoenaed to testify in his murder trial at Los Angeles. Now these messages.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of road in Alamo territory, and with Alamo, all those miles are free. There are over
with the
an Eagle at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer, or call 1-800-2-TEST-EAGLE. Patrick Ewing, after the slow start, missed his first 5 shot opportunities, 4 of 11 from the field in the first half, 11 points and 10 rebounds for Ewing. John Starks, 4 for 7 in his 20 minutes, hit 2 from downtown, 10 points for John, 7 points for Mason, 6 apiece for Hopper and Davis, while Reggie Miller's had the hot hand, 6 of 11, 1 from three-point land, 15 points in all for Reggie, and he is the only Indiana Pacer in double figures. The Knicks, after being outscored in the first quarter, 25-18, outscore the Pacers in the second quarter, 28-15, John, aside from hitting their shots. Turnovers were certainly a critical factor. Indiana with 8 turnovers, the Knicks with only 2.
Big edge that the Knicks had too, Marv, was the bench. They outscored the Pacers 17-4 from the bench. So when Pat Riley saw nothing good happening from the starters, he pressed a few buttons and got results.
Press the buttons.
That's what he did. Anthony Mason led the way.
All right, a look at halftime highlights brought to you by Minolta's 135 EX. Minolta, the official camera of the Garden.
Well, it was a fast start for the Pacers. Good ball movement, fast break. Reggie Miller at the end of a fast break. Things were going very smoothly for the Pacers in the first quarter. Rick Smits also giving Patrick Ewing some tough stuff. Jump hook shot from the 7-4 Smits. I mean, they were rolling along flawlessly. And then the Knicks started to get going. Good ball movement. Actually, later on in the first half, John Starks spun his way and finished as the clock went down, and John had to get the shot off, and he made a spectacular spinning jump shot. And as the half wound down in the closing seconds, Derek Harper took on 3 of the Indiana Pacers and spun that layup off the board, took a look and checked out. Wanted to be the first guy into the locker room, and there he was. What a beautiful move by Derek Harper.
And off that last second bucket, the Knicks lead by 6 at halftime. We'll be back with the third quarter from Indianapolis in a moment.
Get an in-depth look at this year's St. John's team with interviews, features, and great action highlights on the St. John's Report. Thursday night, right here on MSG. Head south to take on Peter Klima and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Saturday night, right here on MSG.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by the United States Postal Service. We deliver smart solutions for you. By MetLife. Get Met, it pays. And by Mobile, helping you move faster with mobile pay at the pump.
Back at Market Square Arena, where the Knicks lead by 6. Let's check out the halftime statistics. The Knicks picking up the shooting in the second quarter. They finish 46% for the half on 18 of 39, while Indiana, after the fast start, dropping off 43% for the first half. Slight edge for the Pacers. On the boards, Ewing, high man of that department, with 10 rebounds in the first half. And we talked about this a moment ago. Indiana with 8 of their 11 turnovers in the second quarter.
Reggie Miller leading with 3. Bench scoring favoring the Knicks in a big way, and Pat Riley has to be happy about that. And the Knicks welcome back Anthony Mason with a fine first half. Our Toyota matchup of the night. The great enemies on the basketball court, John Starks and Reggie Miller, going at it very strong. Miller started out with a terrific game and then cooled off a bit. Still leads, though, with 15 points and shooting the ball well from the field. I think the Pacers will hope he shoots a little more now in the second half.
So the third quarter getting underway. The officials, Dan Crawford, Tom Washington, and Nolan Fine. And the foul called. Reggie Miller picking up his second. Checking over the stat sheet, we see Patrick Ewing was credited with a steal in the first half. It was actually an errant pass from John Williams. Here's Harper. And a loose ball foul Bonner. And the steal by Patrick Ewing. Number 811 for his career. He passes by Michael Ray Richardson as the all-time Knicks career steal leader. So Patrick Ewing is number 1 now in the Knicks record book in that department.
Richardson led the way with 4 years with the Knicks, so shows you how tough he was over a short period of time.
Crowd looking for a foul call against Ewing. Starks accelerates down. Starks played by Miller. Ewing trying to get position on Smits. Hopper going left on the crossover, setting up Ewing. And it's rebounded by Workman. Workman pushing it down. Smits. And again the crowd looking for a call. But there was no argument then from Rick Smits.
Smits kind of backed off and didn't roll to the hoop with the finish on the shot. The initial step was well done.
Ewing lost the grip. Rebounded by Smits. McKee. McKee on the follow is held. He's fouled. Derek McKee getting to the rebound and then fouled by Smith.
Oh, that hurts Charles Smith. He had the position and McKee just outreached him, out-hustled him for that rebound. McKee rolling in. He's a mobile guy. Now what happens? He just goes right by Charles, who stood there somewhat impassively as the rebound came down.
And that is foul number 4 on Charles Smith. Derek McKee, one of the league's premier defensive forwards, spent 6 years with Seattle. This is his second year with Indiana. He was acquired in the trade for Detlef Schrempf. 2 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Illegal defense against the Pacers.
Illegal defense, Indiana, automatic technical foul.
And the Knicks will go to the line, shoot the tee.
One of the other reasons why Larry Brown and his coaching staff likes McKee is because of his versatility. He leads his team in steals. Unusual for a man 6'10" to be able to do that.
Took a little while last season for Derek McKee to become acclimated with the Indiana Pacers, and the fans didn't buy it at first. Detlef Schrempf, very popular player here in Indianapolis, but I think the way things have turned out, both teams are very happy about the trade. Detlef Schrempf is headed to the All-Star game in Phoenix this weekend. Ewing strip. McKee with the hesitation dribble. Hopper leads a 3-on-2. Hopper with the running hook, a wild shot.
It feels good when you take a shot like that, but it's really low percentage basketball.
Mitchell shooting. 7 points for Sam Mitchell, who has been starting for the injured Dale Davis. The Knicks 47, the Pacers 43. Starks worked off the pick. Starks, nice move. It appeared the Pacers had him stopped.
Lots of deception by John on that move.
13 points for Starks. The Knicks lead by 6. Shot clock at 7. Down to 4. Workman. Mitchell off the offensive glass. For those of you who may have just tuned in, the Indiana Pacers came out on fire, led 16-2. They had that 14-point lead, but the Knicks were able to come back in the second quarter. Ewing thought he was fouled, and the Knicks have a 6-point advantage.
Very tough shot for Patrick to make over the tall Rick Smits.
And both teams are struggling here in the third quarter. Foul called on the Pacers. It's on Smits. That's his third. And he's been hit with a technical foul. Rick Smits had some words for Dan Crawford. Does it in very low-key fashion. There's no demonstration, but John, as you might say, he pushed the button.
Throughout Rick's career, that has been his problem, getting foul calls. And he just has been earning respect of the league's officials more and more. I think that's a non-call because it didn't affect the outcome of the play at all. I hate to see those kind of calls made on big men.
4 minutes gone by in the third. Shot clock at 5. And Smith had it deflected out. Last touch by the Pacers. 5 on the 24.
Charles Smith doing his own pleading to the official as well.
McKee met by Hopper. And he's fouled. Hit on a reach-in.
The Knicks are coming off very soft now the last couple of minutes. Big men putting the ball on the floor and coughing it up time and again. Tough drive by McKee, drawing that foul on that play at the other end. Knicks passing up scoring opportunities now with their ball handling.
Hopper picks up the foul, his third, and again McKee with a line of 74% free throw shooter. Indiana Pacers last night won in overtime in Charlotte. They're now 27 and 18. They're 2 games behind the first place Hornets, who've been a hot club, and only a half game behind second place Cleveland Cavaliers are beating the Celtics tonight. And the Pacers have won 4 out of the last 5 games. The Knicks 50 and the Pacers 45. Hopper with the room. Yes. 8 points for Hopper, and the Knicks now lead 52-45.
Dirk has tuned himself out of the Knicks offense in many ways tonight, but more and more now he's stepping it up, and his proficiency is being executed now much better.
And a reach-in foul. That's the second called on Ewing, and a sarcastic roar of approval greeting that call. So Rick Smits will go to the line. He's a 69% free throw shooter.
You notice how Pat Riley, when he wants to object to an official, he'll go and look at him real close, get the message in, then turn and walk away. A very interesting, highly professional debating style he has. And that way, he's not sticking his nose in the guy's face and demanding a technical.
Well, he makes his point unless he is really upset, as he was in Charlotte a week and a half ago, where he was ejected. Ewing through the foul. Foul called on Mitchell, made contact with Ewing. Mitchell was trying to help out.
Bonner on the move, and Ewing looking for that slam dunk opportunity. But by not dribbling the ball, Patrick became much tougher to deal with.
Ewing is 3 of 4 at the line. Patrick Ewing with a strong month of January has picked up the pace and made his way to the number 7 spot in scoring. Shaquille O'Neal leading the way at 30 points per game.
Top 3 scorers as centers, and then Jimmy Jackson comes along. He's been holding that 4th position for quite a while, but Patrick's come a long way.
7-point lead for the Knicks. 5 minutes in, 3rd quarter. And the foul on Hopper. Workman turned it around, went to the left hand, and a timeout is being taken by Larry Brown. So Indiana will talk it over. The Knicks by 7. We'll be right back.
And remember,
3 games to 2, facing elimination. And this is what took place in Game 6. Big jump shot by Hopper, a minute 50 to go. That gave the Knicks a 93-90 lead. Then Fleming on the drive, stripped by Hopper, and that steal wrapped it up, and the Knicks went on to a 98-91 victory, holding the Indiana Pacers without a field goal the last 5 minutes and 6 seconds of the game. A grueling series between the Knicks and the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, won by the Knicks in 7. Prior to that, Indiana had swept Orlando 3-0 in the first round and beat Atlanta 4 games to 2. Knicks 54 and the Pacers 48 with 6 minutes 40 seconds to go. Third quarter. Greg Anthony has checked back in. Greg got 7 minutes in the first half after not playing in 7 straight games. Starks, and last touch by the Knicks.
Greg also had a couple of field goals in three attempts in those 7 minutes.
Anthony Mason will come on in a moment. The Knicks now have Starks and Anthony in the backcourt. Up front, Ewing, Smith, and Bonner. Here's Workman. Stopped by Anthony.
What a play.
Anthony sweeping it away. Recovered by Workman. Miller shaking off Smith and going to the basket. Rebounded by Ewing, who has controlled the boards. Patrick Ewing with rebound number 15.
It seems that Rick Smits on the offensive end stays around the foul line. He doesn't put pressure on Ewing, so Ewing is owning the defensive boards of the Knicks.
Foul on Bonner, offensive foul. And a technical foul has just been handed out to Reggie Miller. Bonner called for his third, and Reggie Miller said something to the official, the trailing official, Nolan Fine, and was hit with the tee, but John Starks cannot convert.
Well, if you look back over the last couple of years, it seems that the Knicks shoot about 50% effectiveness at the foul line on those technical foul calls. It's just a very disappointing aspect of the Knicks game, their technical foul shooting.
John, there's one for our staff to research. I think it's slightly better,
okay,
but not good. You're right.
Not good enough.
Miller, Reggie Miller hits the 3. The Knicks now lead by 3 points. 18 for Miller. Ewing facing a double team.
When Greg goes to the right, he can't penetrate, it seems.
Ewing with a beautiful move. Ewing on the drop step. Knicks lead 56-51. Rejected by Ewing, and then he saves it. Starks with 2 Pacers back for Anthony. Feeds off to Smith. What a play on a 3-on-2 following the rejection by Patrick Ewing. John, I'd have to say that's one of the best plays of the year for the Knicks. The block, the fast break, the crisp passing, and then Charles Smith taking it to the basket with authority.
Greg Anthony in the middle of the action doing a nice job as well, but it was started by Ewing's block and recovery. Starks sizing up the situation. Oh, what a nice pass from Greg Anthony to Charles Smith. The timing was flawless.
22nd timeout taken by the Pacers following this.
All good decisions, particularly by John Starks, who sometimes in his enthusiasm will try and make that play all by himself, but he didn't do it then.
The Knicks 58 and the Pacers 51. That block by Ewing, his 4th of the ball game. The Pacers only 2 of 12 from the field here in the third quarter. So the poor shooting has continued after that fast start. Mark Jackson handles against Greg Anthony. Eric McKee for Reggie Miller for 3. And Ewing able to chase it down. Anthony cut off by Jackson. Smith in a battle with Mitchell. Shot clock at 6. The Knicks bench counting it down. Ewing forcing and drew the foul. Not a smart foul by Smits. And Patrick Ewing just delighted about it. That's number 4 on Smits.
One of the few times Greg Anthony has been able to speak with confidence and direction on the floor this year as a member of the Knicks team. But he's had you know, in his brief history in the NBA, the Indiana Pacers have always brought out the best in Greg Anthony. In fact, Marv, you remember in his rookie year, he had one start that year, and that was the night that Mark Jackson's wife gave birth. And Greg came out at Madison Square Garden, had a 20-point game, led the team, and was very inspiring in his overall play. And in subsequent games against the Pacers, he always seems to do well. Perhaps that's why Pat Riley did his history reading before tonight's game. He went to Greg in the first half.
59-51. The Knicks have an 8-point lead. Williams guarded by Ewing. And it's a 3-second violation. A correction. Foul on Starks, indicating number 3. And it is a foul on Starks, which will put the Pacers at the line. The Knicks are over the foul limit. Reggie Miller, 2 for 2 at the line.
Well, Reggie Miller has the distinction, and it certainly is, to become he has become the first Indiana Pacer to ever start in the NBA All-Star game, and that'll take place this Sunday. And Marv, I know you'll be there.
I will be dropping by.
I'm sure you'll be locked up, sequestered in the sunny city of Phoenix doing your homework. And when it comes to Reggie Miller, I know you'll be prepared.
But of course, saving the best stories for the MSG telecast, particularly MSG2. I want you to know that.
And Tuesday in Detroit, when the Knicks take on the Pistons.
Charles Smith off the mark. Rebound, John Williams. 3:25 to go in the third quarter. Offensive foul. Illegal pick set by John Williams, and when he sets a pick, you feel it.
300 pounds can hurt.
John Williams has been getting the playing time in recent weeks. Indiana has been hit by injuries. Antonio Davis out. Dale Davis has been out, although he did return last night. Sal Thompson, a reserve center and forward, has been out. Anthony hits the 3. Greg Anthony is having an outstanding game. He has done it in all phases. And the Knicks lead by 9. Mitchell. Very tough side angle jump shot by Sam Mitchell. The Knicks 62 and the Pacers 55.
Well, you know, Greg certainly knows Mark Jackson's game, and he has the speed to stay with Hayward Workman when he's out there.
Anthony Mason with the most unusual dribble to set up Charles Smith. And a foul is called. It is a loose ball foul. Foul on Mitchell. And now the Knicks call for time. 2:16 left in the third, and the Knicks lead by 7.
February melts the winter cold with red-hot sports action on MSG Network. The New York Rangers are back in action as they battle some of their top Eastern Conference rivals. They take on the Montreal Canadiens, the Florida Panthers, plus Pat LaFontaine and the Buffalo Sabres. The New York Knicks bang the boards against some NBA powerhouses. They battle the Houston Rockets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, plus Shaq and the Orlando Magic. Stay tuned after most Knicks and Rangers home games and see some of the biggest stars in sports and showbiz. Mike Francesa and Kathleen Murphy host live from the play-by-play. February brings the return of one of the nation's oldest sporting traditions. Don't miss the 119th annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. College hoops continues its fast break towards March Madness. You'll see Cincy, Rhode Island, UMass, and St. Louis, plus 6 more big St. John's games. Today's hard-hitting sports issues are the hot topic every month as Bob Page hosts Page One. Plus, you can always get all the scores and stories every night with MSG Sports Desk. Have a blast with all the great February sports action on MSG Network, the best in the game. Serious New York sports fans want their sports news straightforward and up to the minute. That's why millions of fans find just what they're looking for with MSG Sports Desk. News, views, scores, highlights, with a team of pros to bring you all the latest. Gus Johnson, Mike Crispino, Mike Quick with area high school sports, and the always straight-shooting Bob Page. Get the real deal every night with the New York sports leader, MSG Sports Desk, only on MSG Network, the best in the game.
Delta Airlines' upcoming Knicks schedule. The Knicks, of course, will have a few days off, except for Patrick Ewing, who'll be at the All-Star game on Sunday. But Tuesday, they'll be at Detroit, and Thursday at Miami, in a game to be seen on MSG2. Both games starting with Knicks game night at 7 p.m.
Anthony Mason is 3 of 5 at the foul line. Indiana only 3 for 14 from the field in this third quarter. Off the back tap. Battle for it between McKee and Mason. And last touch by McKee. A break for the Knicks. Mason upset that he missed the 2 free throws, but off the hustle, able to maintain possession. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left in the third quarter. The Knicks lead by 7. They trailed by as many as 14 in the early going.
2 minutes, 2.
Ewing played by the 6'9" John Williams. And now a 3-second violation against the Knicks. Indiana going with a backcourt of Mark Jackson and Reggie Miller, Derek McKee up front, along with Sam Mitchell, John Williams. Jackson lost his balance, calls for time. So the Pacers have to waste a timeout because Jackson would have been tied up. A minute and 42 left in the third.
What have you got there?
Our new camcorder.
You don't know anything about buying camcorders. Now, that's a guy thing.
Hey, I knew enough to shop at Nobody Beats the Wiz, where, believe it or not, they know even more about camcorders than you do.
Did you check the ad? You probably paid too much and didn't even get what we wanted.
Au contraire, chauvinist pig. At Nobody Beats the Wiz, you always get the camcorder you want, and you'll pay the right price for it. They mean what they say in their ads, you know.
Oh, really? Let's see.
You can look, but you can't touch.
Every business day, Delta Airlines offers New Yorkers more non-stop flights to more cities in Europe than any other airline in the world. From Paris to Moscow to Rome, Delta helps you get down to business in every corporate capital.
The Rangers go up against the Tampa Bay Lightning right here on the MSG network. So the Rangers and Caps at 3 apiece after 2 periods at the Garden. Mark Jackson forced to call the timeout, preventing the tie-up and the jump ball. So it will be Indiana possession with a minute and 42 left in this third quarter. The last time the Knicks lost here in Indiana regular season play, April of 93. Knicks overall have won 5 straight regular season games, 11 of the last 12 against the Pacers. They won all 4 regular season games last season against Indiana. Patrick Ewing with his 19th rebound. That is a season high. Mason able to field it. Shot clock at 6. Ewing, yes. The Knicks 64 and the Pacers 55.
Both these teams played last night, and they traveled to get to this game today, but it looks like the Knicks are the team with the energy now as the Pacers are flat.
And Indiana came out sky high. Jackson with a nice pass. Williams blocked by Ewing. Jackson recovers and throws up the air ball. So the Knicks will take over. Remember in his Knick days, Mark Jackson labeled that the teardrop shot, but came up with air on that one.
Well, we got a happy members of the Knicks bench right now. Charles Oakley leading the way, looking up to the crowd, and he's really teasing them with holding his ear, inviting them to say stuff.
Well, they enjoyed that air ball offering by Mark Jackson. But still much time to go. We have 34 seconds left in the third quarter. Greg Anthony. Wait a moment. He missed the first. That was a practice shot he just took. Took the second, but that was waved off. And they called it a delay of game warning against Anthony. The official had not properly handed him the ball, so it was not an official free throw. I'm deducting this.
You did your job.
Shot clock at 5. McKee is fouled. Ewing going for the block, and he's called for the personal. That's his third. It has been a very strong game for Patrick Ewing. 18 points, 19 rebounds, and 5 block shots. Haywood Workman and Vern Fleming coming on for Indiana. Hubert Davis checking in for the Knicks, replacing Charles Smith. Pat Riley wants Hubert on the floor in the final seconds for the possibility of a long-range shot with time running down. The Knicks lead 65-57, and they'll try to hold for a final shot. Down to 5 seconds.
Sounds like a low-flying plane in their gym here.
Mason, I think he forgot the time was running out. He hesitated. So that's the end of the third quarter. It's the Knicks by 8 here at Market Square in Indianapolis.
What happened?
We're headed to the fourth quarter, and the Knicks leading the Pacers 65-57. Look at the Eastern Conference standings coming into tonight. Orlando with the 6.5 game lead on the Knicks. Charlotte seated second because they leave the Central Division. And the Indiana Pacers trailing both the Hornets and the Cavaliers. They're 2 games behind first place Charlotte, a half game behind second place Cleveland. The Knicks try to put an end to a 2-game losing streak coming off the overtime defeat to Orlando on Sunday, and then the bad loss at home last night to the Bucks. Although Mike Dunleavy doesn't look at it quite in that matter. From the Milwaukee point of view, was just a terrific victory to come into Madison Square Garden with a young club and knock off the Knicks. That's former Indiana Pacer Herb Williams, who was looking to make his return.
Herb is expected back next week after the All-Star break. Be nice to see Herb back. I don't know how Greg Kite will feel about that. Greg called upon to fill in behind Patrick Ewing. He hasn't been needed that much as Patrick has gotten into such stride of late. And it will be Tuesday night at Detroit. The Knicks will be there. MSG Network presenting that game with Knicks Game Night at 7 p.m. right after the All-Star break.
Pacers only 3 of 16 from the floor for only 17 points in the third quarter. The Knicks shot only 6 of 15. They had 19 points in the third. Here's Miller. That shot affected by Davis. Anthony and Davis in the backcourt. Ewing, Mason, Bonner up front. So Greg Anthony has been a forgotten man, logging much playing time tonight, and he's played well. Ewing. And the rebound is batted out. loose ball foul on Mason.
I think, Marv, if the Knicks continue and win this game, that Greg Anthony is definitely a candidate for a post-game interview.
Yes. And I know that is on Greg's mind.
And my mind.
You're just looking for someone new, fresh,
right.
to get your hands on. Fourth quarter is just underway. Here's Smits. Not a good shot. And last touched by the Knicks. Rick Smits had been playing well coming into tonight. And remember, the Pacers had won 4 of the last 5, but it has not been a strong performance by Smits. He's also been plagued by fouls. He's playing with 4. Anthony able to deflect off the steal. It's Greg Anthony putting it away. And he's given the Knicks a 10-point lead.
Everything seems to be going Greg Anthony's way.
McKee driving into the crowd, and he was able to draw the foul. It's on Mason. Anthony Mason called for his second, and Derek McKee will head back to the line.
When there's been a big turnaround in scoring in a game, it's always interesting to play with the numbers. This game started out with the Pacers up 16-2. Since then, it is 65-41 in favor of the Knicks, of course. Now 42. What a dramatic turnaround. Amazing. Even last night at the Garden, the way the Knicks started against Milwaukee, blowing them out, we were feeling sorry for the Milwaukee Bucks in the first quarter. They looked so terrible on defense, and at that moment, if somebody would have stopped and said, guess who's going to win this game, you know, it's just amazing how the thing can turn.
Minute and a half gone by in the fourth. Davis facing the double team. Fleming and Smits come over, and they cut off his vision, leading to this. Workman is fouled. Fouled by Bonner, who was able to race down court.
That's Bonner at his best, though. He's got speed and what determination. And the man never gives up on a play if he's anywhere near it. Nice play by McKee on that breakaway opportunity now for Haywood Workman, but Bonner denied the basket.
Haywood Workman in his 4th NBA season out of Oral Roberts. A major surprise last year after spending time with Atlanta and Washington. Not a flashy guy, but very solid. And as we discussed earlier, it was thought that he'd be coming off the bench with Mark Jackson as the starter, but that has not been the case. Smits. Well, Smits able to convert the follow. And it's down to a 6-point Knick lead.
Workman is here because of his defensive toughness. That's why he's getting the time.
And the crowd is back into it. Anthony for 3. Rebounded by Fleming. McKee with Anthony back. It will be Indiana ball. Derek Harper off the bench. He will check in. And Harper replaces Greg Anthony. Pacers showing some signs after having difficulty second and third quarter. McKee with the spin. And Pat Riley wants a timeout. Indiana has come roaring back. They're now down by 4.
Waiting.
Under a canopy?
With the keys in it?
Not exactly.
And protected from the weather?
Not exactly.
In rent-a-car, there's Hertz and there's not exactly. Make sure you choose the right one.
Counting on that promotion, Kirby?
No, not exactly.
How incredible are the savings at your Eagle dealer? We'll find out today at the home of Mike Stocker. It's been 12 straight hours of television for Mike. What's this?
Now, during the National Eagle Sale, get up to $1,700 off Eagle Vision TSI with a 214 horsepower V6, anti-lock brakes, and optional CD player. Plus, check out great deals on the all-new Eagle Talon.
Oh, thought he'd never leave.
Test drive a Vision at your Jeep and Eagle dealer or call us.
Derek McKee coming to life now in the field goal department. He had 5 points in the third quarter. All of them came from the foul line. 5 of the team's 17. Here he gets positioned down low with some fancy ball movement. Mason put a lot of pressure on him, and McKee just flew by him with his speed.
It is a 4-point Knick lead. Charles Smith had trouble finding a teammate. Shot clock at 4. Hopper. It's a 24-second violation with that shot not hitting the rim. And this Pacer crowd loves it. Better than 16,000, a record 12th sellout for the Indiana Pacers. 16,677 here at Market Square. They were alive at the start when Indiana jumped off to that 16-2 lead. Foul against the Knicks. Foul on Davis. And the Knicks committing their 4th team foul.
Hubert Davis moving those feet on Vern Fleming, getting in front of him. Did a good job, but there was some contact.
And now Davis sits down. Starks joining Hopper in the backcourt. This away from the ball on Mason. Nolan Fine reacting to Pat Riley, who reacted to the call, and then Pat pulled it back. So the Knicks are over the limit. The Pacers do not have a team foul.
Well, Pat Riley had Mason on Smits. Now he's making a change again, bringing his big man back.
Patrick Ewing getting set to return. Smits is 4 for 4 at the line. And here's Ewing coming on for Bonner. The Knicks led by as many as 10. It appeared they were on the verge of breaking it open, but they did not. And the Pacers are within 2. 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the 4th. Charles Smith looked like he was going to take it to the basket in strong fashion and then let up. Vern Fleming resetting. Shot clock at 7. Mitchell. Weak shot by Sam Mitchell.
Knicks defensive intensity stepped up, though.
Hopper sets it up. Good defensive sequence here by the Pacers. Ewing facing a double team. Starks for Ewing. Shot clock at 3. Smith gets it off in time and hits. He beat the 24.
It's unbelievable how effective Charles is on the perimeter in comparison to underneath the basket. Boy, was that a timely hoop by him.
And the Knicks only their second field goal of the quarter. They have only 4 points in this 4th quarter. The Knick lead is now 4. Smits. Rick Smits with 14. The Knicks 69 and the Pacers 67.
Knicks trying to feed off Ewing.
Starks for 3. John Starks hitting his 3rd of the night from downtown. And he now has 124 for the season. Last night he broke Trent Tucker's single-season record for 3-point field goals that was set back in the 88-89 season. Foul is called on Starks. That's number 4. John Starks in an animated discussion with Knick assistant coach Jeff Van Gundy.
It wasn't a happy discussion either, as the Knicks were trying to give John some advice on his footwork, and John was explaining his side of it from about 15 feet away.
The Knicks 72. The Pacers 69. A technical foul has been called on Pat Riley.
Pat asked for that one. He gave a real verbal shot to Crawford as he went by him, and he wasn't holding back.
So Pat Riley with some words to the official Dan Crawford, and Vern Fleming will shoot the technical. Fleming hitting the front rim.
Took an earlier look at John Starks on defense. Call for the foul. Nick Bench talking to John. John responding back, saying, I know what I'm doing. I know how to play. That's kind of the message he was giving off.
Ewing. Rebound Smith. Charles Smith with a couple of significant buckets, beat the 24-second clock from long range a moment ago and able to hit on a tip. 8 points for Smith. And the Knicks lead 74-69, 6:25 remaining in the fourth. Anthony Mason doing a good job on Derek McKee. Now McKee gets the ball and he's rejected. Smith with the save. And back come the Knicks.
Well, that's what Pat Riley was talking about in regard to the Orlando effort inside the foul line in the stretch. But tonight, the Knicks had it on that play.
McKee deflects it out. And the Knicks will have 10 on the shot clock. Harper comes up hobbling. Able to work it out. 9 blocked shots by the Knicks. Harper for 3. Yes. Derek Harper continuing his streak. He's hit at least one 3-point field goal in each of his last 22 games. And the Knicks now lead 77-69.
If the Knicks need a big shot, Marv, it's Derek Harper.
Rick Smits. And then Smits glaring at the official, Tom Washington. He has been very unhappy. Smits in foul trouble right throughout. He's playing with 4.
Boy, the temperature of this game has gone up several degrees.
The Knicks turn it over. Yes, things were dead through the second and third quarter, and the Knicks were able to take advantage and mount a 10-point lead. Indiana came roaring back. It is now a 6-point Knick advantage. And a blocking foul called on Ewing.
Would be costly.
Miller shaken up. He hurt his knee. And Indiana will take a timeout. Patrick Ewing called for his 4th foul. Here's another look at it.
Looked like Patrick tried to hold up too on that foul that he committed. Unfortunately, Reggie got banged up. Hopefully he'll shake it off.
Okay, the shot's set. Everyone's smiling, and then no flash. Next time, use Energizer batteries at Nobody Beats the Wiz. They just keep on going.
February melts the winter cold with red-hot sports action on MSG Network. The New York Rangers are back in action as they battle some of their top Eastern Conference rivals. They take on the Montreal Canadiens, the Florida Panthers, plus Pat LaFontaine and the Buffalo Sabres. The New York Knicks bang the boards against some NBA powerhouses. They battle the Houston Rockets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, plus Shaq and the Orlando Magic. Stay tuned after most Knicks and Rangers home games and see some of the biggest stars in sports and showbiz. Mike Francesa and Kathleen Murphy host live from the play-by-play. February brings the return of of one of the nation's oldest sporting traditions. Don't miss the 119th annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. College hoops continues its fast break towards March Madness. You'll see Cincy, Rhode Island, UMass, and St. Louis, plus 6 more big St. John's games. Today's hard-hitting sports issues are the hot topic every month as Bob Page hosts Page 1. Plus, you can always get all the scores and stories every night with MSG Sports Desk. Have a blast with all the great February sports action on MSG Network, the best in the game.
Well, the Pacers got into their uplifting, positive personality as they started the game, but the Knicks didn't take long. They've responded as well, and Mr. Big Shot had something to do with it, too. Derek Harper with that long shot, and the Knicks bench very happy about that. A lot of life in the game now, not only in the stands, but certainly on the court as both teams playing fiercely.
And Reggie Miller apparently all right after taking the hit on the blocking foul by Patrick Ewing. The Knicks lead 77-73. 22 points for Reggie Miller. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Six on the 24. Starks for 3. Yes. John Starks from downtown. And the Knicks now lead 80-73. 20 points for Starks.
That's the way Pat Riley designs it. Let that ball go inside, then outside for the long shots.
And John has hit 4 out of 6 from three-point land. Shot clock at 6. Workman. Now Trapp is able to find Smith. Good recovery by Haywood Workman. The Knicks 80 and the Pacers 75. Mitchell jumping out to guard Harper and then cuts back the other way. A lot of switching by the Pacers. Here comes Mitchell on the double team. It's an illegal defense and a technical foul awarded to the Knicks.
Automatic technical foul.
John Starks will shoot the tee. He's 2 of 3 at the line. It has been a solid game for John Starks. And now the Knicks want a 20-second timeout. So the Knicks will have 3 timeouts remaining. They have their 3 full timeouts. And Larry Brown has 2 full timeouts remaining for the Pacers. Indiana Pacers last season finished at 47-35 down the stretch. Final weeks of the campaign. They were the hottest team in the NBA. And they ended up tying with Cleveland for 3rd in the Central. And then impressed in the playoffs.
Well, Patrick Ewing and John Starks playing catch on the last Knick offensive play, and Ewing getting that ball down as soon as he got double teamed right out to John, and it gave him just enough room despite the defense coming at him strongly. John was able to focus and hit that shot.
John Starks, who played so well against the Pacers, snapping out of the shooting doldrums earlier this season, doing it again here tonight. Charles Smith posting up. It counts, and the foul. Charles Smith with his 3rd big bucket here in the fourth quarter. The long-range jump shot at the 24-second buzzer, the tip-in, and now the potential three-point play.
Charles Smith getting a beating, however, after he makes that shot. One teammate after the next coming up and pounding him with enthusiasm.
11 points for Smith. The Knicks open up a 9-point lead with 3:40 to go in the fourth. They double up on Miller. Shot clock at 5. McKee. Smith's rebound. A new 24 for the Pacers. McKee. And Starks on the ball. And now the Knicks would like to use the clock a bit as we come up on 3 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Down to 6 on the 24. And the foul is drawn. It's called on Workman.
His second personal.
For Indiana, their third team foul. So the Knicks over the foul limit. And the Knicks will throw in. And that actually is the best thing that could happen when you're trying to nurse the lead. Maintain possession. Get the new 24. We're under 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Knicks enjoying some dominance on the boards tonight. Thus far, they're up by 4 as the Pacers are playing without the Davis boys, Antonio Davis and Dale Davis. And that has a lot to do with the success, or they have had a lot to do with the success of the Pacers of late.
Rick Smits committing his 5th foul. Yes, it is a world of difference with Dale Davis and Antonio Davis sidelined by injury. And Patrick Ewing has been able to control the boards. A season-high 20 rebounds for Ewing.
You look at the rebounding difference from the Pacers last season to this season. Last season they were a +3 in the rebounding margin over their opponents. Now they're 18th in the league in that department. But when they get the Davis boys both healthy and playing again, the numbers will get better.
On the other hand, from the Knicks point of view, there's a fellow by the name of Charles Oakley who is sidelined by injury, and that would also make a difference. The Knicks have opened up an 11-point lead with 2.5 remaining in this fourth quarter.
All reports seem to be quite positive too in the comeback of Charles Oakley.
Once again, John, we're blessed, and as foul is called on Miller, and being able to get another look at a Charles Oakley sport jacket.
It's a suit, actually.
A suit. You're right.
He's got the whole show going. What a man! He looks great tonight. You know, I mean, he looks very good every night.
Very dapper guy.
Tonight is outstanding.
And enjoying himself, chatting with fans. Starks for 3. Yes, and the foul. John Starks hits from downtown, and he will go to the line. And the fans filing out here at Market Square. Rick Smits with number 6. The Knicks lead by 14. And here's another look at it.
Well, the Knicks are finding the open man, and best of all, the open man is hitting the shots now.
And the Knicks bench reacting to the shot by Starks.
Charles has a target. Charles Oakley has a target in the stands that he keeps working with the Knicks' successes.
24 points for John Starks. Rick Smits fouled out with 18. We're down to 2 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. And it's called a jump ball. Dwayne Farrell was tied up. Very impressive turnaround by the Knicks. After that 16-2 start by Indiana, crowd going wild. The Knicks were very calmly able to handle matters, got back into the ball game, took the lead at the half, able to build on that lead. Indiana made another run, and the Knicks solid down the stretch, led by Charles Smith, John Starks, Patrick Ewing, Derek Harper doing it again, hit the 3 just moments ago. This one from 2-point range, and the Knicks now lead by 16, and this will feel very good over the All-Star break. John Williams pulling his way in.
well described. Well, the Pacers on Saturday night had their season low in one of their few losses lately to the Cleveland Cavaliers with only 73 points. Larry Brown has to be shaken up, certainly after the big overtime victory last night in Charlotte with this effort, as his team died after the opening burst.
That plunging driving shot by John Williams for the basket stopped an 11-0 Knick run. Anthony Mason at the line. So the Knicks will stop the 2-game losing streak. They will go to a record of 30-16. And Indiana will drop to 27-19. And it's always nice to conclude the mid-season point as you head to the All-Star break. with this type of victory, you know that it'll make things extremely enjoyable to Pat Riley and the rest of the club. Here's Williams attempting the three. We come up on 1 minute remaining in the ball game. And again, the Knicks in no hurry. Starks gets the pick. Ewing, yes. Patrick Ewing, 22 points, along with 21 rebounds and 5 blocked shots.
Come down. Come back, please. Stay low, please.
An all-star performance.
Yes, taking a very nice stat line to Phoenix, Arizona for Sunday's All-Star game. Well, that foul puts Mark Jackson at the line. Very quiet night for Mark.
And it's interesting, too, the difference, Marv, when you look back to Sunday's game, the game that you did on NBC. Starks and Ewing took 52 of the team's 90 shots in that game. You look at tonight's game, and you talk about who played well for the Knicks, and it's a lot of words are said. Everybody played well. Everybody has a major part in this outcome.
John, since that 16-2 start by Indiana, the electronic wizard Howie Singer, our producer, keeping tab in the truck, the Knicks have outscored the Pacers 92-61, and Ewing hammers down the long-range shot. The Knicks lead 96-77. People look at the score, it looks like a blowout, and it was not. Obviously, if you have been watching the entire game, but the Knicks just put it away here in the fourth quarter, and that will wrap it. The New York Knicks defeating the Indiana Pacers 96-77, and the Knicks continue their mastery over the Pacers. 6 straight wins in regular season play. They swept the season series last year. They win the first 2 meetings this season, and they go to a record of 30-16. And it's Charles Oakley off the bench as the first to greet his teammates on the floor.
Now, Charles is putting that nice suit against sweaty bodies. I mean, that's a team guy.
So the Knicks with a 96-77 win here in Indiana. We'll be back to recap in just a moment. The Knicks outscored Indiana 31-20 in the fourth quarter. An excellent Knicks shooting. They finish 50% for the game. Derek Harper with a huge shot. This gave the Knicks a 77-71 lead. That a three-pointer for Derek, and then John Starks from deep in the corner. The basket counts, and he was fouled by Rick Smits. That fouled out Smits for John Starks. 5 of 7 from downtown. He and Patrick Ewing led the way with 24 points, and all around team performance by the New York Knicks. John Starks and Mark Jackson in the final seconds of the game. For Mark, a very quiet night, 18 minutes, 0 for 4 from the field. We'll be back with more from Market Square in just a moment. Right now, let's check in with Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk.
How do you figure this stuff, Marv? Knicks got off to that big lead over the lowly Milwaukee Bucks just last night at the Garden, then folded. They were embarrassed at home, and tonight they came out, just looked utterly awful, and they come back to blow Indiana away. And what you'd have to say is one of the more impressive performances of the season for New York so far. How big was that deficit in the early going? Pat Riley saw Indiana race out to a 16-2 lead at the start of the game. Reggie Miller, who had 11 first-quarter points, 15 and a half, takes the pass from Haywood Workman, goes in for the layup. Later in that opening run, Miller does what he does best. Hits a three-pointer, but before Reggie could talk too much trash, the Knicks roared from behind, and when Derek Harper roared the length of the floor just as the first half ended to lay it in, New York had a 46-40 intermission lead. Derek did his best Flipper Anderson imitation, as I said earlier. Third quarter, it's Patrick Ewing blocking Miller, the outlet to John Starks. Starks to little-used Greg Anthony, who saw a lot of action tonight. Over to Charles Smith for the dunk. New York's lead was 58-51. Charles Oakley, a little more tame outfit this evening on the Knicks bench. Rick Smits out of Marist hits a jumper as the 24-second clock expires. Indiana cut the lead to 2 in the fourth quarter. Knicks outscored them 27-10 from there. John Stark spots up. His triple makes it 72-67. Derek Harper, as Pat Riley says, the best player never to perform in an All-Star game, drills another triple, 77-69. And now it's Stark striking again. Still another three-pointer, 80-73. He and the Knicks on top. And then Smith comes up with a three-point play. Foul on Derek McKee, gets the hoop, 84-75 New York. The Knicks go on to win in what I say was very impressive fashion tonight. As for the Nets, on the other hand of the spectrum, not impressive at all. They went down to Atlanta, were simply blown out in humiliating fashion. 111-88. Steve Smith scored 35 points to lead the Hawks in this one. Armin Gilliam continuing to do a nice job filling in for the injured Derek Coleman, had 25 points to lead New Jersey. The others in the NBA this evening, we begin at Orlando, where Penny Hardaway had 20, Shaq had 19, and the Magic had no difficulty with the Dallas Mavericks winning 110-92. Boston 75, Cleveland 67. That's a final score as the Cavs were held to 13 points in the fourth quarter. Charlotte beating up on the Pistons in suburban Detroit tonight. Detroit must be tired. As you see, it's their third game in the last 3 nights. Juwan Howard, the former Michigan star, has 25 for Washington, but the Bullets are trailing at Miami 91-84 in the fourth quarter. Also, Minnesota up a point over Milwaukee in the third. Phoenix, Utah is in the second quarter, 40-33. The Jazz are trailing at home. As for the Rangers playing on a regular MSG service tonight, nothing comes easy for them this year. They are hosting a Washington Capitals team which came in just 2-5-1. It scored 12 goals in its 8 games on the season, and yet the Rangers and Capitals in a death struggle as they are tied 4-4. We'll have highlights of this one coming up for you during live from the play-by-play at 11 o'clock tonight on our MSG1 service. The Major League Baseball talk saw more embarrassment for President Clinton today. He did bring legislation to Capitol Hill trying to force binding arbitration on the two sides, but the federal mediator W.J. Ussery met with resistance, as you would expect from the Republican Congress. Stay tuned. We're going back to Indianapolis right after these messages.
Yeah, they all...
Excellent fourth quarter. Charles with several clutch buckets, and he finished up hitting 5 of 11 for 11 points, and he is with John.
Thank you, Marv. Charles, as you remember, the last big game for you was against the Pacers. You like to pick on this Indiana Pacer team, don't you?
I'm just trying to get on track, John. We know that coming in today and playing against them and seeing how they beat Charlotte the other night down there, we knew that they were going to come with a lot of energy. And we had to conjure it up to come out here and match it. And we withstood their run early in the course of the game, and then we got back into it.
Charles, the fact that the Pacers started out so strong, I mean, they issued a threat, didn't they, to the team, to you right away?
Oh, without a doubt. They came out shooting the ball well, pushing the ball, and if we came down on our end and we didn't score, they took advantage of it on the other end. And like I said, we withstood, you know, the push that they did on us early.
Charles, down the stretch of the game, you stepped up big time. You seem to be more comfortable these days on the perimeter than underneath the basket now. Is it there's a rumor floating around that your knees are bothering you? Is there anything to that?
Well, you know, I'd be lying if I said they weren't, but I'm not going to make an issue out of it. I'm just going to go out there and play and do the best I can. The one thing I do know is that I can do a lot of things out on the floor to try to help the team and, you know, try to play defense and do some things otherwise and just scoring and putting the ball on the floor, trying to score.
It must give you a great sense of satisfaction, as it does any player, to do it in the clutch moments. And it wasn't only yourself. Your teammates really played a well-balanced game. Does it help erase the memory of the last 2 games?
Not really, but it's a good win to go off onto the break because, you know, you don't want to go off into the break like that. And then that's all about, you know, the players just helping me out, and showing their gratification for me hitting a shot.
Now, in a situation like that, we were saying it seems to be more painful after you make a good play with the enthusiasm of your teammates out there. One of these days, somebody's going to get hurt with that chest pumping, but it must feel good to have that come about. Now, as you look ahead, Charles, to the All-Star break and the upcoming part of the season, time to reflect a bit on the team and its progress. How would you, in a couple of words, describe the position of the Knicks as you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference?
Well, I think we're in a decent position. We're not in the position we want to be in. And during this time off, we have to come back and really make a push And every team that we're supposed to beat, we have to win those games. You know, it was a tough loss last night against Milwaukee, and we can't do that in the second half, because if we want to do what we want to do at the end of the year, which is win a championship, we got to make a major stride when we come back off this break.
Game like last night, is that outcome more mental than physical?
Yeah, it was definitely a mental game where, you know, no one really played that well, and defense was poor. It was just a terrible game mentally. We played with no energy, and we knew what we did wrong, and we just wanted to come out here and get it back.
Charles, we reminded as the game began our viewers of your nice get-together with Reggie Miller in the last game at the conclusion in Madison Square Garden, and then our subsequent conversations. You know, we talked about Reggie. Did you miss chatting with him tonight, or did you guys get a chance to say hello?
Oh no, it was basically a dead issue. He just came out and played. I came out and played, and that was the end of it.
Professionals right to the end. And Charles, congratulations on a fine game, and nice to see you back in good form again.
All right, thanks, John.
Let's get back to Marv Albert.
All right, John, so the Knicks with the 96-77 win over the Indiana Pacers, making it 2 out of 2 against Indiana this season. Back with more from Market Square in a moment.
You are now free to operate all electronic devices.
What a hard-working bunch. And you're working harder than most. I've seen bigger screens on a calculator. Now, this is a nifty screen, but objects may shift during flight.
You know, we were short on everything, and they came out, you know, just on fire. But we stayed the course and got back into the game in the first quarter. You know, got some good play, I think, from some bench guys. I thought Greg came off and gave us a nice lift, some more energy. You know, Patrick simply had a monster game from a rebounding standpoint, and you know, we did a good job in the fourth quarter weathering the storm. We got in foul trouble early, and you know, and then the last 6 minutes of the game, we just played real well. Played harder than we have in a while. Really did play hard.
Any particular reason why with Greg tonight, or?
I just think we need a little more energy. You know, I mean, you play 8 guys for a long time, and they settle into a, you know, a mode. I think sometimes just consciously or unconsciously of, well, I'm going to play, and this is it. And I think an injection of some energy and, you know, fresh bodies is important. You know, and I thought Greg did a good job for us. You know, I mean, we know he can play. It's just that we made a decision to rotate 3 for a while. So, you know, he should feel good about what he did tonight. He was ready to play and hadn't played for a while, and he's been shooting, been working. He made a very positive contribution.
He's covering Charles Smith in the fourth quarter. He had a couple big plays.
Yeah, he did. You know, finally, you know, it's like one big purge when he hit that turnaround jumper and got fouled, and you know, he's been missing a lot of shots and a little bit out of sync, a lot of out of sync. So, you know, I was just going to be committed. I didn't care if he fouled out. I was going to play him through the foul trouble, and you know, we just got to get him back on track. It's not just him, it's us and what we're going to do for him, and maybe just a good rest right now for everybody. We've done a great job since we're at 12-12. We're 18-4, you know, over that time, and we've been really pushing the pedal to the floor. You know, a lot of demands, a lot of work, a lot of mental work, and believe me, they have, I think, as a team, sort of come to the end of it for a while. So I think it's a great time for us to have a break.
Does Greg's performance change anything as far as maybe inching into the rotation at all?
I don't know. You know, we'll see. You know, I'm a little bit concerned about the minutes that Harp is playing. You know, but you know, I'm not reluctant to play Greg. I'll play him in a moment's notice. So it's not that. It's you know, we did a good job rotating 3 guys, got guys into their games, and yeah, but that's a possibility. Second half of the year, get back into it.
You also started AV the second half?
Yeah.
Thinking there? Or?
Well, just, you know, I just, you know, wanted to get a little more experience out there, a little more defense. That was basically, and I thought he was playing very well the last couple of games, so good to see what happens with that.
It seemed like the team was really resolved tonight that no matter what, you know, they didn't even seem phased at all, even with the Rockets.
No.
Did you have that sense yourself?
Well, you know, I mean, I tell you, I've seen, you know, it's happened to us. We got ahead 14 last night, and you just sort of have a tendency to let up. And you know, as long as you don't get down 27-4 or something like that, you know, 15-2 at the beginning of the game, or 16-2, and I think it was 19-5 at one time. You know, we chipped it away, got the 18-10 or 19-10, and then we got, you know, we got 4 or 5 down. It was a game. So, I mean, unless you're ready just to pack it in, you know, some teams might do that. We got back into the game in the second half of the first period, but they were real sharp early. I mean, Reggie hit about 4 shots in a row, and you know, Mitchell hit one, McKee hit a couple. We were missing everything, fumbling everything, and then finally got our legs underneath us and adapted to a team that really was putting a lot of pressure on us and bumping us and banging us. And you know, eventually in the second quarter, we just played extremely well. Just
Seems like John is also like unfazed by anything. I mean, he takes the same shots, knock out.
Yep, tell me. That's why, you know, that's why you gotta love the guy, you know. I mean, but I'll tell you what he did tonight, and he was more conscious of it. We had a meeting today, and we talked about it. You know, the three-point shooting and the perimeter shooting has been a plus for us. But in the last 2 games, we got 11 layups against Orlando and 10 last night. And I don't mind if we take 27 threes. I really don't. As long as we take 37 post-up paint shots. That's fine. There's a good balance. But when you're 40 perimeter shots and 15 or 16 post shots, you're out of skew. And even if you're shooting well from the perimeter, so it was a mindset more than anything else to post it, repost it. But I thought John tonight put the ball on the floor more than he has. He tried to penetrate and get to the basket a little bit more, and I think he's got to do that. You know, I mean, he's taken 27 of his last 34 shots have been from three-point range. Now, you know, I mean, so he's got to recognize as a pro that, you know, that's a little skewed too much. And so tonight he did put the ball on the floor. We ran a lot of pick and rolls for him. I wanted him to get into the paint, and I don't care what happened, but just drive it. And he made some great plays.
How important is it going into the break the way you finished up tonight?
It's very important. I mean, it would have been a real downer, you know, to play as well as we did for so long, drop the game at home last night to a team we probably should have beaten, and lose 3 in a row. So this was, you know, this was a good win for us. This is just sort of a feel-good win for us. We're 30-16, and you know, we go into the break, you know, feeling good instead of, you know, hungover. I mean, you know, I'm glad we won, not because we beat the Pacers, and I think it's important. I'm just glad we won, so I've got 5 days where it's not misery, okay? That's all. 4 days. I'll take it. Okay?
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Okay, guys, you enjoy yourself.
Well, John, I have to say Pat was very, very happy with the victory tonight, and understandably so. As we were saying during the course of the fourth quarter, you know that it's a great feeling going into the All-Star break, coming off a win like this.
And he definitely liked the skew of the game
Yes,
and
he
the outcome, you know?
Yeah. Back with more in just a moment.
The New York Knicks postgame report is...
And, of course, the Davis boys for the Pacers.
High number of assists for the Knicks, total of 24, 9 blocked shots, including 5 for Patrick Ewing, 2 by Charles Smith. Back with more from Indianapolis in a moment.
Ice Draft. Taste the future of draft beer. New ice brewed ice draft from Budweiser.
Time for the traditional ice draft dunk of the game. And it was Reggie Miller handling that ball down low. Didn't get it done. Patrick Ewing saving that ball. John Starks igniting the fast break. He'll look to the middle of the court, give it up. Greg Anthony to Charles Smith for the ice draft dunk of the game.
The Knicks 96 and the Pacers 77. The Knicks remain 6.5 behind the leaders of the Eastern Conference, the Orlando Magic. The Magic knocking off Dallas tonight, 110-92. Following the All-Star break, the Knicks and the Detroit Pistons on Tuesday night. Knicks game night at 7 o'clock. That will be our next Knick broadcast on MSG. Marv Albert with John Andres saying so long from Market Square Arena.